Hey everyone, my name is Sean and this is Sean Stocks. Today we're going to continue talking about the underdog, the lucky stock, the one and only Clov, C-L-O-V. We're going to get started right away today, okay? So first we're going to take a look at this article from the NASDAQ. It says Clover Health Investments is now oversold. C-L-O-V. Okay. So it says here that legendary investor Warren Buffett advises to be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. One way we can try to measure the level of fear in a given stock is through the technical analysis indicator called the relative strength index, or RSI, which measures momentum on a scale from 0 to 100. A stock is considered to be oversold if the RSI reading falls below 30. Okay, so on trading on Tuesday, which was today, we entered in oversold territory, hitting an RSI reading of 29.4 after changing hands as low as $7.84 share. I'm going to talk about the price movement in a bit, but that was really, really low, okay? By comparison, the current RSI rating of the S&P 500 is 59.8. A bullish investor could look at Clov's 29.4 RSI reading today as a sign that the recent heavy selling is in the process of exhausting itself and begin to look for an entry point opportunities on the buy side. The chart below shows the performance of Clov shares over the year. Okay. So again, beautiful chart that we have here, and we see that we're right here at that right-hand side. July 27th is today, and in the 52-week, we know that the low was $6.31 per share, $28.85 as that 52-week high. And right now, again, in the middle of the day, we had around $7.84, $7.86 today. So is now a good entry point. A week ago, I talked about $8 as being the bottom. Do we still see that area as a bottom? I still believe so, and I'm continuously going to buy the dip. I'm going to buy the dip actually tomorrow. I'm putting a good amount of money in there, and of course, getting some more Clov. My favorite stock. So this, these articles, I think, will come more and more and more as time progresses, because I think that, again, this stock, great value underneath that $10 list price. We got tons of people. We got in this stock, of course, in the Reddit that we talked about as well, talking about this stock, of course. And, you look at it and you're like, okay, what if you respect the price analyst, you see the price analyst and you're like, okay, they have it at $9, $10. They used to have it a lot higher back before, I think in like February, March. And in my opinion, it's only gotten more bullish news, more positive news coming out. And, I think that we still have really, really high potential to go much higher in the long run. And hopefully, again, in that short run, we will hopefully have a squeeze. So this, again, hopefully we see more articles like this. This is great to see. Next, we're going to go into the price movement of the day. We can again see, we have 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the trading on the screen here in the chart. And as you can see, we started off from the previous close of $8.20 at the beginning, at the 4 a.m. hours, the really early. We saw this go all the way to 8:07 right there. And then sooner or later, we got to the opening up at 9:30 a.m. And the open was at $8.06. Okay, when you compare that to the close at 8:05, in the day, we only dropped 1 cent, but there was a lot of movement in the day. We saw this stock start first getting the high of $8.25 at the beginning of the day, but that did not last a long time. We saw this stock continue to drop, and then it reached the intraday low of that $7.84, and that is that area that they were talking about. RSI a little bit oversold there on that RSI, just barely going under that 30 level. And, after that point, after that intraday low, we did see, again, a continuous starting to move up a little bit, and then a continuous movement above the VWAP, ending the day off at that 8:05. In the after hours, we did drop to that $8. So, even though last week we saw it go all the way up really high, right? Again, that $8 mark is kind of the point of inflection where it's just like, I want to hold my shares. I want to buy in more. And we don't have a lot of people selling, right? We don't have a lot of institutions selling off at this price point because it's such a great point to get in. And the people that got in seem like they're going to get in. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But as we can see, the volume, we're at 14.89 million. The average volume is 55.07. 14.89, again, it's not a lot. We are getting close. I know before we reached $28, I think the volume maybe a week before that was like 8 million for the day, okay? So we're getting very close to kind of that range, you know? And if you look at that, maybe it is a good time to get in for this stock, okay? And if you want to get that extended hours, of course, I have the link in the description, a link in the comment section to get into Webull. You get 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300. And hey, you can do with whatever you want with those stocks. I always like to choose my favorite stock after I get free stocks. So something you can do as well. And oh, by the way, I do like Clov. It is my favorite stock. Next, we're going to go into order flow. As you can see, same thing as the previous day. We have zero for the comparison of inflow versus outflow for large scale orders. We have actually more retail investors buying this, 18.56% versus 15.86%. So again, it shows that, you know, hey, we're going in, we're buying this dip that we are experiencing underneath that $8 mark. Great price point to get in at, okay? So cool to see that order flow on the zero, basically being for large scale orders. Next, we're going to go into Fintel. Yesterday, I brought Fintel to the table as kind of a new thing. You know, I mentioned that a few weeks ago. I mentioned about one of their founders talking about how Clov had a great short squeeze potential. And Fintel basically gives us this information on, you know, short shares availability, short bar fee rates, and also they have this cool thing called short squeeze score. Right now, their short squeeze score is 54.51. That is out of 100, right? So we're kind of in that mid range for short squeeze score. So, you know, right now doesn't look like, based off what they do, that there'll be a squeeze in the short term. But, you know, maybe a few weeks from now, maybe a while from now, right? But we never know. We could see again a gamma squeeze like we saw up to $28 because we have a lot of options on August 20th that are in play. When we go down to short shares availability, we can see that we have 2.6 million shares that are available. And, you know, this is a decrease from yesterday. I think we had about 3.8 or 3.6 million yesterday. So that is a little bit of a decrease. When we go to the short borrow fee rate, we have a 0.95%. Again, not bad news to have a low borrow rate. It just means that if people want to short the stock, it's not as expensive. I know in the past we saw really, really high short bar for the fees, right? But now we don't. But again, remember, before it went to 28, it was in that 1%, 2%, 3% before, boom, up to 28. So I'm not really too worried about seeing something that low for that. Next, we're going to go into Ortec to see the short interest percentage of the free float. And if you like this video so far, please smash that like button for me. It really helps. Also, subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notifications on my upcoming videos. As we can see in Ortex, we can see that we have an increase, a big increase in the short interest change, in the short interest percentage of the free float. Right now, it's at 23.4%, but we have a 10.16% increase. That is really big and kind of a good sign in the sense. We look at the cost to borrow average, it's at 1.97. The cost to borrow max is at 3.96%. So again, getting very close with those two percentages right there. And the current days to cover is 0.73 days, and the utilization rate is increasing. It's 88.43%. Okay. Next, we're going to go into stock grid. This is going to show us the dark pool data. Okay. And I talked about the dark pool in a previous video. And as you can see, we got the net short volume as negative 2.4 million. The amount is negative 20.05 million, negative 84.3 million is the position, and the dollar amount of that would be 849.35 million. And so, you know, you wonder, okay, what does that mean, Sean? What does that mean? Okay. And when we scroll all the way to the bottom, it kind of gives us that clarity on the meaning of that. Okay. It says that a positive number means that the short volume was higher than the buy volume times the closing price, and taking the 20-day cumulative sum of the series. A positive position or positions would be bullish. A negative one is bearish. So right now, we're still kind of in that bearish area based off of these numbers. And I think last week there was a point in time where we did see this go positive at one point, okay? So we sometimes, and I think it was this first one right here, the net short volume went positive at one point last week. So again, it could flip on us. And when we kind of look here at when the stock rose dramatically, we can see that there's a big flip. So yeah, so we can actually see that the net short volume is 18.23 million, and then it flips to negative 49.77 million. So that is actually when we saw that increase all the way to $28 for that day. So you kind of wonder, is this similar to other ones? And I'll talk about that later, but it is kind of interesting how this chart rolls. And again, we're kind of decreasing over time. You can see that there was a point in time where we had a really big negative amount, but then over time it kept on going smaller and smaller, and here we are standing where we're at right now with these numbers at the top. And when you look at the dark pool volume for the day, it was a decrease from yesterday, 51.32% for the day. A little bit less actually than the 30-day average. The NASDAQ having 15.75% of it, and then you have all these other exchanges following. But the dark pool only that 51.32 for the day. So, still a little bit of a decrease from the previous day. It means that I feel like, again, that article that we talked about at the beginning of this video is correct, that things are kind of leveling off. Things are, trying to we're finding that place where we might hit a shift in the price potentially. Next, we're going to go into Ape Wisdom to see the trending stocks on Reddit in the past 24 hours. And interesting, we have, of course, the S&P 500. There's a lot of stocks there's earnings report here in the middle. Of course, we got Tesla, Lucid Motors, AMC, GameStop going down a couple of spots because the talk of the town is those the stocks that are having their earning reports. And of course we have Clover Health investments down at number 13, a little bit of a dip, about 4 spots from the previous day. So it's not as mentioned as much right now on Wall Street Bets New, Wall Street Bets Elite, stocks, investing, SPACs, options, day trading. But if you want to get this pushed up, you can of course spread the news about Clover Health in those subreddits, and that will help actually get mentions up about this and thus push this up higher on the list and get it into people's minds a little bit more even. And so lastly, we have our Clover Health subreddit page, okay? And this is great because you can see discussion posts, due diligence posts, you can see memes about the stock. Those are always fun. And we also have a Discord that's associated with the subreddit right here, and you click it, you open it, you can talk about this stock 24/7, and that's a great opportunity to talk to like-minded peers around the clock. We got people all over the world, so check that out as well. But, overall, if you want me to talk about anything else in these videos and want me to mention or elaborate on certain topics, definitely comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say on that. And, as always, I hope you have a fantastic trading day tomorrow, you lucky people. Take care. Bye-bye.